can see the giant night.
What are you saying?
What?
What are you saying?
Ow! What's that thing? The Lion King.
Can you feel the love tonight?
Well, okay, but you got to come down here.
No, that's the song.
Huh?
That's the song.
Well, why are you acting like you didn't know what it was then?
Because you weren't singing the words.
You still understood it though. Okay, I don't need your excuses.
Every time I log in to record now, it changes my microphone setting and I have to change it back.
Would you like me to call the first world police, or you?
Oh my God, shut up.
What do you want me to do about that?
Did you stop the vacuum?
Yeah, you sent me that video and I heard it in the background and I was like, well, I'm not waiting for that to finish so I can record.
It was annoying me anyways. It knocked over my purse and then stole my apron out of my purse.
Stole nothing. You left things on the ground and it swept it up. It's not sentient.
No,
it didn't steal anything.
Knocked over my purse. My purse was like right side up and then it like drove into it, knocked it over, and then it got caught on my apron string. Yeah. And I was like, all you have to do was not knock it over.
Yes. Again, it's not sentient. It wasn't the cat.
It's supposed to stop when it comes across an object, not go into it.
No, it runs into it and then goes, oh, there's a sturdy object. If you left something out in the middle of the floor to where it could get knocked over, that's on you. If your purse was up against the wall, it would have bumped into it and then gone, oh, there's something against the wall there, and then kept on going.
How was your day, though?
Oh, yeah, let's change the subject. All right. It was okay. I had to go into work this morning, which was just super fun because I always love doing that on Saturdays and Sundays. Yeah, and then I was making the videos for YouTube, and boy was it annoying me this morning. So I made episodes 8, 9, 10, and 11 today, and I was not uploading 9, but I was exporting it episode 9 from the video editing software, right? Mm-hmm. And all you got to do is just click on it and then wait for like an hour for it to render the whole thing. So I was like, yeah, I'll play some Starfield in between waiting for the episodes to finish exporting, So episode 8, I did that. It was fine. Episode 9, I edited it. I started exporting it. And then like an hour later, I looked over and it said 73% still. And I was like, that's weird. And it says, we'll be finished in half an hour. I'm like, okay, it's just taking longer than normal, whatever. So like half an hour goes by and I look back over and it says 73%, half an hour until complete. And I'm like, no. So then I clicked on it, right? Like just the software, not even the video. I just clicked on the software and it was like, we ran into an error. Please restart the export. And I was like, why didn't you say that? Why didn't that pop up like half an hour ago when it paused? Like,
Yeah. You're like, I wasted so much time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just playing games, so it's not like I was working on it, but I was like, all right, cool. So I restarted it. Go back to playing games. Like 20 minutes later, I'm like, you know what? Let's check on it. I look over, it's at like 5%. I'm like, no, it should be further than that. So I clicked in the software again. Same thing popped up again. It was like, please restart. We ran into an error. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here. So then I exited out of the whole thing. I reset the video itself, like deleted the project, re-edited the whole thing, then hit export, and then it went through in like an hour. And I was like, okay, cool. Thank you. Then I went to episode 10 and I edited the whole episode. I hit export and like I just sat there for like 10 minutes. And sure enough, like 5 to 10 minutes in, it paused and it was like unknown error. And I was like, you gotta be, I was like, oh. So I deleted the whole thing and re-edited the episode and then hit export. And then it exported while I was at the gym. And I was like, earlier. And then I did 11 and exported. And I was like, it was just so much frustration. And I was like, it's not even a difficult task. I don't know what we're doing here. Like,
yeah. Well, I'm glad it got exported.
Yeah. And then I went to the gym and now we're here. So what'd you do today?
Sorry, I was pulling up my list of podcast things to talk about because I was like,
girl, why didn't you do that before we started?
I didn't think about it.
Oh my gosh.
So today I've played a lot of Baldur's Gate,
Yeah, just
But
today.
I also cleaned my kitchen or our kitchen, and I, cleaned my car out. I need to go get it washed still, but, it's good. Wanted to make sure the car was okay-ish. And
Okay-ish, not
empty out my
clean, just
trash and
okay-ish.
everything, you know? And I wiped down the steering wheel and the seats and everything and vacuumed out. Okay, I filled my tires, and then it immediately got hot outside, so now they all say they're at, like, 37, 38, and I'm like, "Should I let some of that out, or do you think it's okay that it's a little over?"
I mean, it's up to you, babe. If it feels like it's right and wrong, let some out.
It's about to get cold again, so I'm like, maybe some of that'll go
It's
away.
supposed to get cold again. When is it supposed to get cold,
Well, I
and
mean,
what
it's
is your
supposed to cool
definite
down next
cold?
week, and because it
Is
was
it?
raining so much this week, my
It'll be
tires
90 next week. So cold. Get your jackets. Brr.
let me check.
Like, okay.
Yeah, it's going down to the 70s
70s? When?
next week. Oh, I guess the
Are
high is
you
still, like, 90.
driving at midnight? What do you mean?
No,
It's gonna be 70. Yeah, at fucking 2 AM.
but it's been sunny all week, so, and one of
Uh,
my employees' last days, so I took her some gifts and stuff, uh, we got her she's really obsessed with this K-pop band called Stray Kids, and the music's not bad, she's shown me a few of their songs, but I got her a hoodie
music's not bad.
of them, she almost cried. She was like, "What is this? What is this?" And then she saw it had, like, all their names of all the members on the back of it, and then the name of the band on the front, and she was like, oh my god," like, she was freaking out about it, it made me feel really happy, and then I got her some flowers from Trader Joe's, which I don't know if you've gone to Trader Joe's on a Sunday, but don't.
Why
Um,
would you go there on a weekend? It's the worst. I don't know
yeah,
what's up with
no,
that
like,
store.
I had to park, like, completely across the parking lot, like, there was no spaces close to it,
Well,
and then
especially over there where we live, it's just old people, and all they do is like, "Oh, Trader Joe's on the weekend. Yay,
well,
it's
and then I
organic."
guess they released a bunch of their, like, pumpkin and fall things this weekend, and Trader Joe's usually runs out really quickly, so, like, I guess people go when they launch new things because they don't wanna miss it, and it was just jam-packed, and all I was getting was a bouquet of flowers because I was like, "Trader Joe's is good flower prices, like, that's where I'm gonna go." It was a mistake, and then the first line I got into, I'm waiting for a few minutes, I'm being patient, I'm like, "I got plenty of time," like, I knew I'd probably be busy, so I gave myself, like, 45 minutes to get through Trader Joe's, basically, um, and then the line I'm in, the register goes down, so we all had to, like, shuffle and move into the other lines, um, and it was just, like, a fun waiting experience. Listening like, somebody walked in, with his wife, I think, and they look and they go, "Well, at least the lines aren't long."
No, that's
It's just,
something I would do. I'd walk in and be like, "Oh, thank goodness it's not busy today," and then just leave.
yeah, like, just fun little sarcastic comment I overheard, it was fine. Um, but yeah, so that was pretty much all I've done, and then I came back and the cat keeps scaring herself with these fucking balloons. I thought after she popped the first 2, she'd learn a fucking lesson, but I'm like, I was getting ready to hop in here, with you, and I just hear the popping sound, and I look and she's, like, jumped a foot in the air, and I'm like, "Well, what did you fucking expect? Like, what happened with the other ones?" You know? And then she just,
She
like, carefully keeps, like, dabbing her paw on the little circle colored paper dots that were in these balloons, and she just, like is, like, slapping them. I'm like, "Yep,
did you
it's still
say
inanimate."
did you say circle color paper dots?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Pretty sure, they've come up with a name for that recently. Maybe
Confetti.
called confetti.
Confetti. It was called confetti.
It was, it's not anymore. It's
But
dead
yeah,
now.
the cat's giving herself, like, an anxiety disorder, I swear to God. Like, she just kept meowing at me earlier, and I'm like, "I don't know what you expect. Like, you the first one popped, so yes, that one's gonna pop too, silly." Ugh.
That's awesome.
And then when the vacuum started going off, she slapped it too. And I was like, "You know what the vacuum is. It's been here for months now." Like,
Yeah, she's just surprised that it goes off every once in a while instead of, like, not being constantly on or something, I don't know.
she just has to watch it too, So, fun times. Do you have any stories or can I dive right into my pet store story?
No, go. I mean, I have one, but you go for yours. Go ahead.
I've been so excited to tell you about this because
I remember you even normally what happens is like things that happen throughout the week for us. We're just like, oh, okay, this will be a great podcast story, and we'll like write it down, and then we bring it up on the podcast. Like, guess what happened? This what happened. But no, this time Ripley texted me. I was like, "What'd you? You were out running errands?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What happened?" She's like, "I was at Petco." And the craziest thing happened. And I was like, "What happened?" She's like, "No, I gotta wait for the podcast." I'm like, "All right, but you brought it up. Like, what?"
okay, so it's not even that crazy. It was just like I had just gotten off a long shift at work and I needed to go grab a few things. Um, and then while I was out, I was like, "Oh, I'll get the cat a new toy because she broke her favorite wand toy."
Oh no, she was down to 30 from 31. What were we gonna do?
But I'd been wanting to go to the pet store for a while and get one of these because it's like you could buy the rod and then the like teaser toy separately, so it like
You can
screws
buy the
on.
rod anytime you want. Okay.
Shut up. So you buy the like wand toy and they have
Oh, we're
screws
getting
on.
wand toys and
Shut
rods,
up!
huh?
It's for a cat.
Not
um,
sure it is. What
so
kind of
you
pet
can like
store did you go to? You get a new collar too?
listen. I'm telling a story. So you can screw it in and screw it off and like replace the head of the toy, right? Now you
I'm
got me
just
thinking.
saying.
Stop.
You stopped at that
Uh,
time. I didn't even say
um,
anything.
so I pick out a blue like wand
Rod,
part.
yeah. Hmm.
It was pretty cheap, and then like I was happy. So and then I picked out a blue fish for the wand part because the cat likes blue. I don't know why, but she just really likes blue things. But she only likes dangly. She's very picky about her toys. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I'm like
That's why we
happy.
buy one of everything on the market just so we can find out that she likes the
So
first
I
toy we
was like,
bought her.
I'm pretty sure she'll like this one. So I go to check out. There's nobody there. It's like 7 o'clock at night when I went. Um, but the guy at the register just I don't know, he seemed like he's either high or just, like, really, really tired or something, but I also was kinda tired because I just gotten off work, so he picks up the toy and he goes, "You broke this?" But I thought he said, "You're buying this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm buying it right now." And he goes, "Oh, but it's broken." And I was like, "What?" Like, I couldn't understand what he was trying to convey to me, you know?
Okay.
And then I was like, "No, you build your own, like, that other part screws into it." And he looks at it for, like, a long moment, and he goes,
Yeah, look, man, you gotta screw the head on the rod, all right? Otherwise, the wand doesn't make the kitty happy, okay?
"Shut up." He looks at it for a long minute, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't know we had that." Like he's supposed to know every single product they carry, and it's like a
Did you
major pet
say
store.
did you just respond by like, "That's weird, you look so good at handling rods."
No, I did not because I'm pretty sure he was a minor, like
Ugh, well, you gotta lead with that. Now I just look like a pedophile.
yeah, I think he was like 16 or 17, like and he like I said, he definitely seemed like he had been blazing up or something. He was having trouble working his way through this conversation, like all of his responses were slow. But he was just trying to inform me that like I didn't have to buy it if I broke it, I guess. And I was just like, no, it's a toy. Like it comes like that, like I don't and it was pretty
He's
obvious.
just
Like
been like, "Look, sir, I'm an expert in wand toys, alright? Leave me alone. I'm trying to
and
buy this."
that's pretty cool. And I'm, like, trying to pay him, and I'm like, "Yep, it's for my cat." Like, I don't know what else he wanted me to say, but he was just so amazed that they had a build your own toy section. I was like, "Yep,
I
can I
it
go
reminds
now?" Like
me it reminds me of the story of, one of my old roommates from college. Did I ever tell you about that when we went to, what is that place? Jack in the Box?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I don't know if you ever had, Jack in the Box's, tacos?
No, I don't think so. I
It's
usually
like
get their curly fries.
it's like if they took a bunch of Taco Bell tacos and they ground it up and they put it in, like, a paste form, and then they put it inside what used to be a tortilla, but only in someone's dream, and then they sell them too for, like, 50 cents or 60 cents, like, they're super cheap. Um, that's what they are. Now, I had a roommate in college who was a fan of smoking, right?
Mhm.
And so one day we always let him order the pizzas, by the way, because he ordered the best pizza. But he comes to us one day and he's like, "Hey man, can you take me to uh Jack in the Box?" I was like, "Jack in the Box, what for?" And he's like, "Because I'm really high and I want their tacos, but I can't drive." I was like, "All right, man."
Mhm.
And
We love a responsible king.
so me, him, and my two other roommates, I think one of the other roommates drove. And he's like, "I'll buy, just get me there. I really want tacos." And we were like, "All right, man, let's go get some tacos." So now I've explained the whole premise of like they come in twos, right?
Okay.
So we pull up and he's in the back seat right behind the driver's side. And we can't get in. We were like, "What do you want, man?" And I think he got like worse as we were driving there. I don't know why. Like it just hadn't fully kicked in yet or something. I don't know. But
Probably. Sometimes you can over imbibe because it hasn't like fully taken effect, and then you're just fucked by that point.
yeah, I'm not an expert like you. But so we got there. By the time we got there, we were like, "What do you want to order, man?" He's like, "Tacos." And we're like, "Yeah, we know that part. That's what you told us. How many tacos?" And he's like, "Just order me some." And we were like, "You know what? You're on the driver's side." So we rolled down his window and we drove up to the little speaker box. And um, we pulled up our window first, and we each ordered like a burger or something. I don't know. It's Jack in the Box, whatever we got, right? And then we pulled forward just a little bit so that he could get to the speaker. And we were like, "All right, man, tell her how many tacos you want." And he looks over and he goes, "Who, the box?" And we're like, "Yes, tell the box how many tacos you want." And he goes, "Oh, gotcha. We're at Taco Bell." I was like, "No, man,
No.
we're at Jack in the Box." And he goes, "Oh, right, the box." And we're like, "Just tell them how many tacos you want." And he goes, "Oh, right, right, right." And he looks back over and he says, "Yeah, let me get 15 tacos." And the lady goes, "What, sir, that did you say 15?" He goes, "Yeah, 15, 1 5." She said, "Sir, they come in twos, like pairs of two." And he's like, "Oh, that's my bad. Just make it 17 then." They went back and forth for like a good minute or two where she's like, "No, it comes in twos." And he's like, "Yeah, all right, well, just give me two more then." And he got up to like 29. Like he was like, "All right, just give me two more then." He
And
couldn't
then she's
grasp
like,
it
"That's not how
that
this
he kept
works."
adding two. And finally she was like, "No, sir, it needs to be an even number total." And he's like, "Oh, well then just give me 8." She's like, "So you want 8?" He was like, "Yeah, 2 times 8, so 16, right?" She's like, Do you want 16 tacos?" He's like, "Yeah, 16 sounds good." And she's like, "Okay, thank you. Please drive forward." And we drove up and we were like, "Yeah, he's paying." And she's like, "I don't think he knows where he is." And we're like, "I don't know. If you have tacos, it doesn't really matter." It was the greatest thing. He just couldn't grasp it.
That's so funny. I've been there. Or like but the few
You been
times
to that
I've
Jack
been
in the
like
Box?
that no, like when I've been that high, like I don't like people to know. So even though I'm really high, there's still like a small part of me that's like nobody could know. And I
Yeah,
remember
no, everybody knows.
my friends one time, they were trying to show me like a YouTube video. We had all been like smoking together or whatever. And they were like, "Oh, this video is so funny. You're gonna love it." And I was like blasted. And I was like, "Oh my God. I, I don't understand this video, right?" Like they're holding it up and she and it was like her boyfriend. They're like laughing hysterically at this video. So every time they laugh, I just started laughing too because I was like, "Oh, if I laugh when they laugh, they'll think that I'm watching the video and I understand what's going on." But I had no fucking clue. Like I was like, "Yep, those are words coming out of that YouTube video." Could
Those
not
are
understand
words.
it. But they were laughing, so I would just be like, like every time they laughed. It was,
Yeah.
embarrassing. I still don't
It
know what the
was
video was about.
I have no idea. I ordering food from people that's high is always fun too. Like what was it? My
I don't
brother and
like
I,
order.
we were at McDonald's, or we were in a drive-through at McDonald's, and it was probably 2 a.m. And back when they were like open all the time.
Yeah, as they should.
And we drove up and we were like, we just want some fries, because I was like fries, and I think we got a burger too. So it was like, yeah, just fries and a burger. And the guy, we pulled up and there's nothing over the speaker, and not like nobody there. And we were like, that's kind of weird. Normally, the little thing goes off, the little sensor, and it's like, hey, someone's at your drive-through. Maybe just say, hey, I need a minute, or like, hey, what can I get you? No, it was a good minute or two where we were just sitting there looking at the menu, just hanging out and talking. And finally, over the speaker, we hear, "Are you guys there?" We're like, "Yeah, we've been here." And he's like,
Are
"Oh,
you there?
yeah." We said, "We've been here," and he said, "Oh, that's where the voices were coming from." Yeah, motherfucker, you're working the drive-through. We were like, he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, what can I get you?" And we're like, "We'll take 2 double cheeseburgers and 2 large fries." And he's like, all right, sounds good. What does the other one guy want? And I was like, "No, that's it total." He's like, "Oh, you both want that?" And we're like, No, 2 total, like 1 for me and 1 for him." And he's like, "Oh, gotcha. Do you want fries with those burgers?" Yes, we
Yes.
do. He's like, "Okay, all right. It'll be this much." Pull up to the window. We're like, okay. Drive up to the window. He's just he's sitting there staring at the computer screen still. Doesn't even like turn towards us. And we're just staring at him, and we're like, I don't think this is gonna go very well for us. And I was like, I'll be surprised if we get food. And so finally, we're just sitting there, and he looks over, and he looks like got that little like surprised look, when something shows up next to you. He's like,
Like
whoa,
you scared him.
yeah. He's like, whoa, what happened? He opens the little window. He's like, "Hey, what can I get for you?" And we're like, "All right, man, look." I
Oh my
don't-
gosh.
I was like, "He'll take a double cheeseburger and a large fry, and I'll also take another double cheeseburger and another large fry." And he's like, "Oh, 2 and 2. Why didn't you just say so?" And like
Oh my
taps
god.
on the screen. He's like, "All right, it'll be this much." So I give him the card. He turns back around, swipes it, gives me back the card, which I was like, "This is the smoothest it's gone so far." Like that was amazing. And then he looks back at the screen. He looks back at us, and he goes, "Did you guys want like ketchup or like some other sauce?" And I was like, "What other sauce are you gonna give us with this? Like normally you don't offer that with burgers and fries." He's like, "Oh, we got a ton of sauce here, man. We got like ranch and honey mustard and barbecue and ranch." We're like, Yeah, let's just do ketchup." He's like, "Oh, I forgot about ketchup." I was like, "You started off with ketchup, man. All right." He's like, "All right, I'll be right back." Which was like there was another window that said pick up here, but he said, "I'll be right back." So we were like, I guess we'll just stay at this window. He left for like I don't even know how long he was gone. Like we were just talking with the window down. Finally he came back, and he's like, "All right, here's your food. Did you guys pay already?" "Yes, we did, sir." We're like, "Yeah, we paid." And he's like, "All right, sounds good. Here's your food. Did you guys want ketchup?" I was like, "Bro, how much have you
No.
smoked?" And we're like, "Are you working by yourself tonight?" He's like, "Yeah, it's just me in here. There's no one else working tonight."
Oh my
I
god.
was like, "Okay, man. Well, we're gonna go. Thanks for the food." And he's like, "All right, yeah, you can get it at the second window." We- We're like, "No, you already
Okay.
gave us the food." And he's like, "Oh, okay, well then have a good one." And he closed the little window, and we drove off. And I was like, I don't know what just happened. There was no one else in that drive-through, but we were there for probably like easily 20 minutes, just
Gosh.
sitting there waiting on food. But let me tell you, that was like the freshest McDonald's I've ever had. Like that man went and made everything and then brought it back. And I was like, all right, man, at least you can still
No.
cook.
I would say like you shouldn't work if you like you shouldn't work high if you can't handle it, but honestly, in a job like McDonald's, that's probably the only thing
At
making it
2
bearable to
a.m.,
go to
he's
work
just like,
today.
"I don't know, man."
Like, you're gonna get screamed at over some burgers and fries. Might as well do it while you're high.
Yeah, dude, I've had some weird experiences in the drive-throughs of McDonald's. Like,
McDonald's is like an alternate dimension, honestly,
it's like the drive-through equivalent of a Walmart, I feel like.
or like a Denny's parking lot.
In Denny's, now you just playing 2 minutes, Cards Against Humanity. But no, I was behind this guy in, he was in a Tesla. I was in a poor people car, apparently. And, and
Every other
so
car.
yeah, every other car. And he's like, I already mobile ordered, right? And so I was just kind of waiting there. And he's at the first window, and the guy takes his card. He hands him back his receipt and his card. The guy like pulls forward and then does like that immediate stop, like he just realized something, you know? And like he probably only moved forward like, I don't know, an inch, but he still put the car in reverse, backed up a couple inches, and then put it in park and looked at the guy. And I don't know what he said, but I could hear, like, I saw him shaking the receipt out the window of his car, excuse me, of his Tesla. I don't want to be disrespectful. And the guy opens up the window and they're like talking about something. They're doing this and that. It goes back and forth for like a minute or two. Finally, the guy in the window like takes the receipt and like does something inside, gives him back like 4 receipts. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Gave it to the guy in the Tesla, and then the Tesla drove up to the second window.
Interesting.
Excuse me. And so I was like, that was kind of weird. Like, I wonder what happened. And me being, just
Nosy.
whatever. We inquisitive is a good word. Insightful.
It's a side quest.
Side quest, yeah. I drove up and he's like, hey, did you have the mobile order? I'm like, yeah, I did. I was like, do you want to shoot? I'm like, no, I'm good, but I'm curious, what was that about? The guy in front of me, he's like, oh, you mean Tesla man? And I was like, I thought that's
Yes.
what he sounded like. Yeah. I was like, yeah, Tesla man, what happened? I was like, you just spill the tea a little bit. I don't know you. You don't know me. Let's do it. And he's like, yeah, he had a mobile order, but then he added something at the speaker. And so we charged him for it, but then he was mad because it was more than what was on his app. So he wanted a refund and then wanted his receipt from his first mobile order while placing a second mobile order for the thing that he ordered at the speaker, all while sitting at this counter. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing. And I was like, what was the price difference? He's like 12 cents. I'm like, oh my
Oh my God.
gosh. I'm like, he held up you and the line for 12 cents. He's like, he's got to save up for his second Tesla. I'm like, you know what? You're right, dude. You're right.
Yeah, all that gas
That's all
money
right.
he's clearly paying.
Right. Yeah. I was like, okay, man. Sounds good. I don't know. Then I went on my way.
Okay. I have like a thing that's like not from Austin, but have you heard about the Subnautica planet?
I will have in a
Okay,
moment.
so they discovered this planet. It's called Planet K218b. Um, and gamers have taken to calling it the Subnautica planet because it's completely covered in water. But what's so interesting about this planet, and like besides the fact that it's completely covered in water, is that they have found high levels of dimethyl sulfate on it, which
Ooh, my
is
favorite.
it's a chemical that is like a byproduct of marine life, basically. Um,
Right.
so they think they have found evidence of life on this planet, but it's like a mini Neptune basically. It's got 8 times the mass of Earth. It's only about 120 light years away, and it's just completely covered in water. So
Oh, thank
people are
goodness.
calling it the
Grandchildren on their way.
Subnautica. I guess we have to have kids so they can go to the Subnautica planet.
Nah, we'll just freeze some sperm and some eggs and send them to a new colony. Same thing.
But it orbits like a cool dwarf star in my birth constellation, the constellation Leo. But you know, it's
What
really,
galaxy
really
is it in?
big.
Or not galaxy.
Um,
What star system? Star system B. I don't know.
I was like, why do they name it things like this? Because like it's always like
What was the name?
K218b or KGB12 or things like that, you know?
Well, it's easier than naming things with actual names because there are so many star systems and things in the sky that it's easier to number them than it is to name them and try and like remember. So it's like a classification code where like the first two identifiers is like the type of star and then the type of system and then it's the type of planet and then it's like the number of planet from usually from the star.
The star it rotates is the red dwarf K1218.
Right.
I don't see it saying like anything else.
So it orbits around K1218. What was the planet's name?
It's K218b. Sorry, it's hard for me to say. It's not K12. K218 is the star, and then it's K218b is that planet.
Yeah, so that's how they classify like stars and planets, because it's easier to keep track of what system it's in if you just number them.
But yeah, so I mean, they've known about this planet since like 2019 or a little earlier, I think. But this year, the James Webb Space Telescope detected the DMS chemicals, basically. So suggesting it's covered in marine life, possibly.
Is it the second planet from that star?
I'm
just guessing.
I was wondering if it was. I mean, is there a K2? Let me see if there's a K218a.
Probably. Because K is a type of star, and 218 is probably just the number in which it was discovered. So I'd assume B is like the second planet from that star.
No, so the star is K218. It doesn't say that there's a first planet. I think it's the first planet around it.
No, maybe. I don't know how they classify it.
There's a lot of information, but it's basically a super Earth is what people are calling it. But I don't see how they could call it like a super Earth if it's mostly covered in water, because like, we so far cannot live on water yet. It's classified as a Hycean exoplanet.
Yeah, but we have the technology to control submarines for at least an hour before it explodes. So really, we're on our way.
Isn't it so crazy how we went from like landing on the moon to like we saw a planet on a telescope? When we started Mindless Prattle, we were immediately overwhelmed with all of the different tasks that come with starting a podcast. The audio, video, website hosting, editing services. It's enough to make anybody dizzy. If you want to start your own podcast, that might be one of the biggest things holding you back. Editing and production can be a huge learning curve and was what made me the most nervous when we started this podcast. Don't worry, you don't need to become an expert audio engineer to run a great sounding show. If you head on over to mindlessprattle.com/alitu, that's ALITU, you'll find a great little web app that was designed to make processing, editing, and publishing super easy. Alitu lets you create a podcast without knowing anything about audio production. It'll do conversion, leveling, noise reduction, and everything else at a press of a button. Finally, you can either download the finished episode or have it published directly from the app. So don't let editing and production get in the way of sharing your message with the world. Get started with Alitu on the monthly plan at $38 or the annual plan at $380 that will give you 2 free bonus months. You also get a 7-day free trial with either plan, so head to the link and give it a shot. Head on over to mindlessprattle.com/alitu to create the podcast of your dreams. That's mindlessprattle.com/ALITU.
I'm pretty sure we saw things through telescopes and then landed on the moon.
I just mean like they're not trying to do cool stuff like that anymore.
No, because the price of everything's so high. Why would anybody care about trying to get to another planet or explore the universe? Everyone's just trying to survive at this point, which is dumb.
I just feel like money shouldn't be like a factor for those sort of things. Like I feel like every country in the world should make up like its own space like program, like where we all join in kind of like
you're talking about like one collaborative space program? Yeah, that's not happening.
What's the government organization called that?
What?
Where all the countries come together. What's that called? Like
Europe.
No, the government body. Like what's that called?
The Kings of Old.
No, oh my God! Like
Round Table.
I'm pretty sure like FDR helped start that, or
NATO.
Roosevelt.
Peace summits.
No, this is like a name for the. I'm gonna have to Google. Do you like the United Nations?
Russian oligarchs and their puppets.
No, the United Nations. Like,
Oh,
the
the
United
UN, yeah.
Nations, but like a
Mhm.
space program like the UN where
Now
we
now
all
you're just
agree
getting
that it
into
doesn't cost anything.
no, now you're just getting into Halo lore, all right?
Is that
That
what Halo starts
yeah, it's the
at?
UNSC, it's the United Nations Space Gun.
That's what we need.
It's that's how
We
Halo is.
need like all of the countries to come together and be like space travel is a
Yeah,
thing. We
it
should
is definitely the UNSC is the United Nations Space Command.
Speaking of space, so Starfield, did you see that somebody went to Florida and made the first Waffle House on the planet in 200 years in Starfield?
In Florida?
Yeah, they went to Florida in Starfield and then built a Waffle House.
Nice. That's dude, there's so much to do in Starfield. It's honestly it's overwhelming if you are like a normal person that doesn't like having a million quests because there's a system where if you're walking through a town or a settlement or wherever and if two NPCs or even one NPC just says something or has a conversation, even if they're just like, yeah, I heard Jack at the bar had some really good news. It'll add a quest to your quest log that's like, talk to Jack in the bar. And you're like, why? They weren't even
Yeah,
talking to me.
I think I'm like that because of Fallout. Because if you didn't pick up every little quest, then like you would miss out on the craziest
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, there's side stories and all sorts, but it just adds them. So right now, I probably have at least like 50 quests like that I just
So
have
oh my
backed
god,
in there.
it's
But
overwhelming.
it's actually really fun. Like there's a ton of stuff to do. You can design, if you just want to sit around and build like starships all day, you can do that. If you want to be a space pirate, you could do that. Like I watched somebody's space pirate playthrough and they're literally just flying through space and stealing ships and then selling them for parts.
I don't get how to fly on PC.
Well, I don't know. Try plugging in a controller. I haven't tried to fly on PC yet.
I think a controller would be easier because I felt like I could only rotate around, yet it said I was moving forward, yet it didn't like look like it, and
Okay,
I
so
found the whole thing confusing.
that's the interesting part is a lot of times in like No Man's Sky or like other space games, when you move forward, planets and things like they get smaller. So like it looks like you're getting closer to them.
Mhm.
But like planets and stars and moons, they'll get closer to you in Starfield, but the scale is so accurate that it's going to look like what it would in real life. So you're only moving at like 70 meters per second, but the planet is like 4,000 kilometers away. So the planet will not look like it's getting any closer. So it doesn't look like you're moving. You just have to read the numbers to see which direction you're
Okay.
moving.
Yeah, I found it very confusing, and then, like, I was trying to fight other ships, and I was like, "Am I moving?"
I
Like, I
definitely
don't.
it also helps if you fly in third person because you can see your whole ship and
Oh, can you change that?
yeah. You can it's like it's Fallout. You can change to third person anytime you want. Uh,
Yeah, I think a
but
controller would suit me better because
it's
I was having a bad time.
the controller's better for everything except for shipbuilding and outpost building. Like the building things, it's very imprecise. Like menu scrolling through menus is difficult on the controller, but it's not terrible. But oh my gosh, the inventory system is absolute garbage. Like it is the worst part of the game by far.
I don't like the menus. Like the watch thing, I was like, "Okay, Pit Boy, whatever." But,
But you can't
like,
even use
there's
the
so many
watch. Like I
buttons
can't even
and
pull
so
it
many
up.
menus, I was like, "What am I supposed to be doing right now?"
Yeah. The menus I got used to, right? And I'm fine with them now, but the inventory system is still garbage. Like everything has stats, right? It has like what rarity it is, from uncommon or common through like legendary, which is fine.
Yeah.
It has what its uses are. It has the value, the type, like the damage. It has like its stats, but you can only ever see one of those like measurements at a time. Like if you sort it by damage, it'll display everything's damage, but only their damage. If you sort it by value, you can see all the values, but only the values. You can't see the damage anymore unless you manually scroll over each one, and you can't compare them unless you're comparing whatever you're looking at to whatever you have equipped. So if you're trying to compare two things and they're neither of them are equipped, you just have to memorize the numbers. Like it's not very good at all. Like it's the worst. And I think I mentioned this to you earlier as well. Any like documents or like data slates is what they're called. Anything you see like sitting out on a table, you can't just read it. You have to pick it up. It goes to your inventory. Then you have to go through like 3 menus to get to your inventory and then read the thing and then back all the way out if you want to read it. Same thing with like eating food. There's a lot of food in the world that's just sitting out, but you can't eat it like off of a table. You have to put it in your inventory and then go through it and then eat it. And you're like, this is why? Like, what is the purpose of not being able to eat off of a table? And it's funny because there's already mods out. You can, if you're playing on Steam on PC, you can mod it and add things where you can read things before picking them up and just eat things off of tables. It's ridiculous. I'm like, these are like basic quality of life things that need to be in this game.
Yeah, that have been in games since like the dawn of time.
Right.
Basically.
And like you can do it in Fallout, which is crazy to me because the same people made this game and it's based like around Fallout almost. Like it feels like Fallout with like reskinned and in space. Like there's some new mechanics, but it feels like Fallout. And it's crazy how different like the quality of life is in it.
Yeah, I didn't get very far into it. I haven't tried it since you downloaded it on your computer, but it just wasn't compatible with my computer.
No, yeah, I was like, overall,
it looks like a 2008
but,
video game on my computer.
Yeah, you got to turn up the graphics. It looks really nice on my my Xbox, but I saw the other thing too is if you're looking for things that are wrong with the game, you're gonna find a lot of things wrong with it. If you're looking for things that the game does well, you'll also find that what the game does really well. So I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for. Now, unfortunately, I'm looking for both, so I see both sides of it. And I'm like, this is really nice, but I've
been playing Bethesda games
terrible.
for a really long time, so like certain bugs, I'm like, yeah, that's expected.
I haven't
some of it,
into,
I'm like, I'm not gonna deal with it.
That's what I'm saying. I think they focus so much on getting rid of bugs that they didn't want to add basic features like the inventory or the like picking things up because I haven't ran into a lot of bugs like at all. You know, like there's some clipping here and there and like you know maybe something's off, but there's hardly anything for the scale of the game. Like I don't find a lot of bugs, but there's again a lot of basic things that I would expect out of a Bethesda game in 2023 that just aren't there. But I have to finish it in less than 20 something days, something like that.
Why?
Because then the new Assassin's Creed comes out and I just can't focus on 2 games at once. It's just not possible.
You know, I feel bad for other video games because Baldur's Gate just has my heart right now.
I see. I started Starfield and now I'm still in Act 1 on Baldur's Gate. So
yeah, I mean, well, you even made the comment that you don't think I've been into a game this much for a while, and it's very true.
Oh,
I think about it constantly. Like in my head, it's constantly going like down.
Yeah, Starfield and Baldur's Gate are doing that for me, which is I'm like, this is crazy. Like I haven't who is it? There's a lead developer at another studio who commented on Larian Studios page and was like, I haven't felt this way about a video game since I was like a kid. And we're like, yeah, these 2 great games that just came out, they're great. Like if you're looking to something to take up a lot of your time, pick either one of these, you'll be perfectly fine if whichever one's your genre that you like.
Yeah, and it's like it's also kind of gotten me to start playing games with like friends I haven't played games with in years. Like after this recording, actually, I'm gonna start up a new match with one of my friends. I'm like, this is gonna be like the 7th character I've made.
Like your 7th one.
But you know, it's so cool. Like it's getting me to kind of like socialize with people, and I just really like it. I want to install mods though, and if I'm gonna play multiplayer, I can't because they have to have those same mods installed. But I've been seeing
what kind of
many,
mods
like,
are there so far?
A lot of ones for like expanding the character creator, so like there's new faces and stuff.
Expanding? There's so much already though.
Well, it's pretty great, but I do think there's some valid criticism about, you know, you only get to pick like a face, like you don't get to like make your own face or anything like that. So there's some faces.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like to edit the facial features and stuff. God.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of like clothing mods, which I would love. Somebody posted a TikTok and they were like, this is like Sims 4.
Yeah, like time for all the mods to come in. Woo.
As one person on Reddit was like, I just keep making new characters and not playing the game.
Yeah, I really hope that Bethesda does the same thing they did with Fallout 4 and adds mods like into the Xbox version of the game. Like that was great. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
They added
I have so many mods on my phone on our Xbox.
They added in the section where you could just download mods that they think are safe, and you know they'll tell you if they're compatible or not. I'm like, that'd be awesome for Starfield, especially. Like, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, and I think for someone like me who had never really like played around with mods before, it kind of let me start messing around with mods in an easy way. And now I know how to install mods that aren't, like in a game, but I was really scared before to like mess
Just
around
to
with stuff
break the
like
game
that.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, especially for younger people or people who aren't like very familiar with how modding works, I think it's a great system to start out with. Now
Oh
I know
man,
how to connect this mod manager.
I didn't even tell the one story that I had this week. I forgot about it.
Oh, which one?
I was okay. So I was driving from San Antonio down to the border yesterday morning for an early morning like meeting, right?
Mhm.
So I stopped for gas about halfway or like a quarter way, I don't know. And I stop, and I think it was like 4:30 in the morning probably
Mhm.
when I was going, and I get out, start the pump, and I was like, you know what? I need to go get an energy drink. Like I only got a few hours of sleep. I still got a long drive. Like I want to be able to stay awake through it. So I turned around as I was putting the pump in my car, and there's this guy shuffling from. He was a shuffle at best, shuffling from the front door of this gas station towards me, and he's got a bag in one hand and he's waving at me with the other hand and he's yelling something, but he was in the middle of saying it, so I didn't catch it the first time. And I said, what was that? I couldn't hear you. He said, don't use their gas. I was like, why? And I hadn't started the gas yet. I'm like, why? What's going on? He's like, there's cheaper gas in San Antonio. It's $3.19 a gallon up there. And the pump I was at was like $3.40. I was like, oh, okay, that's good to know. He's like, if you're headed up to San Antonio, it's $3.19. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Well, I can pay for it. No thanks. I'm good. I'm headed the other way. And then he stopped halfway. Like he was still coming at me this whole time. And I was like, sir, please. Like he he looked disheveled, and I was like, I don't know why you're trying to get San Antonio this badly, but no. And I was like, no, thanks, I'm good. I'm headed the other way. And he goes, well, it's not like I care. Turned around and walked off. I was like,
Okay.
all right, bud. Pretty sure
Thanks.
you did care, but I'll see you later. Good to know that gas is cheaper in San Antonio, I guess. But I was also like, how do you know that? Were you there? Did you walk here from San Antonio? Like, how did you get to this location, sir? It was
And why do you care?
yeah, he's like, well, see if I don't care. I'm headed that way anyway. He like shuffled off into the darkness. I'm like, all right, Grandpa, see ya.
Canon event.
Yeah, I guess I'll hit the lock button. I'm like, that's a side quest I don't need. I'm gonna lock my car, walk off. And then I walked inside, and I don't know what it was about gas stations at 4:30 in the morning, but I was like, I know exactly where the energy drinks
They're
are
an
because
alternate dimension.
I've been to this gas station before, right? And I walked in and I grabbed one from the what you call it, and I turned around, and oh boy, is it party time! All right, the door flies open, like six, maybe I don't know, teenage peoples. They walk in, all of them just real loud, and me and the one employee just kind of look at each other and look back at them, and we're like, what is going on right now? Like he looked at it like it wasn't normal, and I looked at him like, hey, is this normal? And he was like, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, all right, man, can you check me out? And he's like, yeah, I guess. And we both like started walking towards the cash register. And then they all formed a line, like all six of these teenage girls formed a line, like side by side, not front to back or nothing, side by side. The leader, I don't know, let's call her. She takes out her phone, which is I was surprised because I was like, that should have been out already. I don't know how you made it from the car to here without looking at your phone. And she swings it around like she's trying to knock somebody out in the process, like almost hits several of the other ones and like the shelf that they're standing in between, and like lifts it up, and she's like, early mornings, and like takes like 100 like selfies of her and like all 5 of them, and all 5 of them are just like making all the dumbest faces you can think of, staring at this fucking camera. Meanwhile, they finally stop, and they were like, all right, what do we come here for? And I was like, you don't even know, like, what are you doing right now? And I would have been gone already, except they were literally blocking the path between me and the cashier to get to the cash register. I was like, look, I'm just trying to leave. I got another
have
like
some
2
awareness of your
hours.
surroundings. It's fine if you're gonna do all that craziness, but don't make other people be subject to it.
I was like, okay. And I was in uniform, right? So they looked me down there. Oh, sorry, we were in your way. And I was like, it's all good. I'm just gonna go check out. And we walk by them, now we're on the backside, and they were like, you guys get in on this. And I was like, absolutely not. And I kept walking to the register and paid and left. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm just trying to leave. I don't want any part of that. It's not happening.
You're like, not my problem.
Yeah. And while I was checking out, I was like, so weird morning. He's like, yeah, I see that. I'm like, all right, man. See you later. Bye. Have fun.
Well,
And that was my 4 a.m. gas station story.
I'm trying
Thank
to
you
think.
for coming.
I have like more stories. I'm like,
You do, or you don't know if you do?
I don't think I do. I've just been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate. I did some writing the other day. I'm not gonna hit my goal, but it's fine.
What do you mean you're not going to hit your goal? Just stop playing so much Baldur's Gate.
I was thinking I need more words than my goal words anyways, so like I'm not finished yet. Like I need a lot more words than my goal words are.
What was your goal?
80,000.
By
like September 25th.
Why my birthday? What?
That was just like I thought that would be like a good time.
Okay.
I've been writing this book for 9 months now. It's okay. Most people take a year, but I'm halfway through the story. I feel like I think I'm gonna need like 100 to 120,000 words, which for my genre is about average. So,
well, you
and then
can't
I'm
be
gonna
below
edit.
average. Trust me.
And then I'm gonna have to edit and everything. So I'm fine with taking a little bit longer. I just feel like
I'm
COVID's
fine
still
with
a
it
time.
too, but when I get pings on the camera that's like, bing, Baldur's Gate, 10:59, bing, she works at 5 a.m. tomorrow, bing, she's still awake. I'm like, at least someone
Shut
put off their
up.
writing, huh? That's cool.
My writing schedule is kind of like that too. Like I write really sporadically.
Yeah, because you don't have a schedule anymore. You used to, and then Baldur's Gate came out, and you're like, nah, I don't need that. Straight to the trash.
Well, sometimes I also write in the bedroom because I write on my laptop a lot.
Hey, real quick. Happy 420.
Happy 420. But we live in Did you?
Anyway.
Okay, actually, one thing to talk about. I don't know if
Why
other
you have to
Texans are
snap at
pissed
me
off
like
about
that?
this. Did you see the bullshit with our Attorney General, Ken Paxton?
That isn't he going like through an impeachment right now?
Well, he was. They acquitted him of all charges because I guess if you're a rich white Republican man in Texas, you can get away with literal crimes.
Who acquitted him?
Every single one of the people. It was a jury of his peers, basically. Like, and they didn't even.
You say that like that's not the law.
They didn't even. They didn't even like
jury
make
of friends.
people testify. Like the woman he was giving government money to, she was there. They didn't let her testify. Like it's just corruption, and it's ridiculous. It's like he literally votes against the interests of Texans, but then Texas people keep voting for him and voting for fucking the bitch governor dude. I can't remember his name right now. I'm mad.
Gosh, yeah.
Like people
that's gonna do it for
complain.
us this week.
Well, I'm just saying because like people complain, like 65% of Texans, I think, agree with like legalizing marijuana, but then our governor and the AG said no, so they said fuck their constituents. I just don't get it. Like, it just makes me really angry.
I'm pretty sure it's just the fact that people here vote for names, not what they've done. They're just like, I remember hearing about this guy. Vote.
People vote along party lines, and it's completely against our own interests, and nothing's gonna change, and it sucks. Do you have another story
tried?
so we can end it off on a lighter note than that?
Well, why did you bring it up now? Hey, did you want to do the intro or
Oh my god, we didn't do the intro.
who's we? That's your job. I do the outro, you do the
Hi,
intro. That's
welcome to
it.
Mindless Prattle. If you didn't know, we prattle mindlessly.
She went on a little long this week, it seems like.
But hey, that's fine. I mean, and then Revenant. I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast at all.
You've given a description of it before, yeah.
So I finally finished it.
Well, I would
And
hope
like I said,
so. That
like
movie's only like 2 hours long.
it's a show.
It's definitely a movie. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio in it. He fights a bear.
Okay, I'm not.
Like,
It's
a
not
whole
the
thing.
bear movie. It's a Hulu series.
I'm pretty sure it's on Hulu.
And so the show, it has trigger warnings and stuff because it's a show about suicide prominently. So I knew it kind of touched on those subjects, but the last episode was so emotionally powerful and poignant that I was I told you I was crying a lot. I didn't expect that from the show. I thought it was just going to tie up the mystery and all that stuff, but there was this
but then in the
line.
description, you told me it was a drama and expected there to be like, what kind of drama have you ever seen that didn't involve emotions?
Well, it was mostly about these ghosts,
Yeah, that's
right?
what I thought.
So I thought it was more like drama in the sense that it's
The
not quite
show's
horror.
about unaliving ghosts, and you were like, yeah, there's no emotions to this.
Well, so it's about basically it takes place in the 1950s, and these people hire a shaman to kill children so that they can create a juvenile ghost who will make them get really rich. But they have to murder a kid to do it, so it's only terrible people will do it. But this girl ends up getting haunted by this child ghost, and they have to figure out her name and all that sort of stuff. But in the last episode, she has this line, the main character, and she said something like, "Why and for whom did I treat myself so cruelly?" Because she's talking about how she learned to fight off the ghost and how she knew she could win in the end. And I don't know what it was about that line, but that just made me cry. I was like, damn, that you're right. Why did you treat yourself so poorly? Because she talks about how the reason the ghost was able to get to her was because she was she wanted a different life. She was poor, her mom has health issues, all this sort of stuff. And that's why the ghost can latch on to you, is because you're greedy or you want things, and then it'll kill people who stand in the way of you getting what you want. But
I got you.
but she gets trapped by the ghost. The ghost wants to take over her body and stuff at the end, and she takes control back over her body. But she said she basically just had to realize it was her life to live, and that she needed to make the conscious decision to live a happy life. And once she was able to do that, the ghost had no hold over her, because the ghost was a teenage girl who was stuck in her bratty feelings. And it was the ghost's fault that her younger sister died and all this crazy shit. The reveals were really good. The twist kept coming at the end, but I was just like, wow, that's actually a really great message. And then everybody kind of gets a happy ending besides all the people the ghost murdered. A lot of people died in this show.
Everybody.
And it's her and her mom and her best friend, it shows them going on adventures and living their best life and
Gosh,
beyond. And
spoilers.
I was just like, wow, I was really worried for a minute that I was not gonna have a happy ending. There was
It shouldn't have, all right? Too many things do.
I wanted the happy ending.
Hey, speaking of that, would what dollar amount of money do you think it would take for you to agree to punch me in the face as hard as you can?
I think 500,000 minimum.
500,000? If someone came up and was like, "Here's $1,000, punch him as hard as you can in the face," you wouldn't take that $1,000?
No, 1,000 is fucking nothing.
All right,
maybe 100,000.
100,000? All right. What about 10 grand? Here's 10 grand in cash and unmarked monies. You just punch him in the face.
No.
No,
That's not
no
enough.
10 grand. What about 25 grand? $25,000.
Okay, maybe.
All right. I'm glad we talked it down from 500,000 to 25,000.
If I can't pay off my car with it.
Now, okay. Now, would would you still take 25,000 or for one time, or would you rather get like $100 every time you punch me in the face?
No.
You wouldn't? You'd just take the 25 and do it once?
Would you punch me in the face for $100?
$100? No, not repeatedly. That'd be crazy.
Plus, like, I mean, I can't punch that hard, but like, I just don't think $100 is worth it. Like, I'd have to punch you 10 times to get $1,000. That's too many times to get punched in the face. Like, I'm not doing that.
Well, sure, maybe, but like, you know, you got to look at it overall. Like, how many times? Maybe, okay, what if we change it? Just punch in general. You just got to punch as hard as you can. You can pick where. You get $100 every time you do it. Would you do that, or would you take $25,000, but you have to punch me in the face?
I'd take $25,000.
You'd still take 25,000?
Mm-hmm.
I think I would take the 100.
Why? You would kill me after like 2 punches.
No, it doesn't say you have to do it like back to back, but every time you want to go out to eat, just be like, boop. All right, we can go out to eat tomorrow. All right.
But you'd have to punch me as hard as you can, so we couldn't go out to eat tomorrow because you'd knock me the fuck out in one punch. I'm little.
Why wouldn't I punch your hand? Why wouldn't you just put like a boxing glove on and I punch that? You could just hold up a pillow and I could punch it. You know what? You just ain't thinking inside the box. I think that's the issue. That's why my face hurts now.
Me, not that you get to punch a pillow, because if you're punching a pillow, you're not fulfilling the terms and conditions of the punch.
Still, even if I punch you as hard as I can in your, like, if you block it with your hand, you will be okay to go to dinner. I promise. We'll try it out.
I don't think so.
We'll try it out. That's all right. But you know what? You can take that 25 grand and pay for my nose that you broke. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not like. Let's just not punch each other.
Follow-up question: would you rather have? Would you rather somebody be like, you know what? Here's $1 million, or would you rather them give you $100 every time that you masturbate?
$1 million or 100 every time I masturbate?
Yeah.
I'll take the 100.
Yeah, you take that. Why'd you whisper it? Now you whispering. So
I'd take the $100 on that one.
So you think that
how much? Like, you definitely masturbate more than 100 times a year, right? So like
100, sure, but to get to $1 million is 10,000 times. You'd have to masturbate 10,000 times to get to $1 million.
Well, I guess. Let me see. We need to Google this. How many times do people masturbate?
We need to go. Yeah, what's the average? Because like if I got the 100, definitely you wouldn't see me for like a long time, and then one arm would just be real jacked. You know that Family Guy skit? You've seen it. Did you find the average?
Well, this one is saying that it's putting it in hours. Okay, the average person masturbates 3 times a week. So just 3 times a week times 52. That's 156 a year. So you have to do like 10 years. I guess like that's
by 156. No, that'd be 10,000 times. You'd have to do it 10,000 times, but you only do it 156 times a year. That's 64 years before you make $1 million.
I guess I'd take the $1 million.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the math ain't.
But you know, I'd have to do the math first. Like they can't just offer things like this to me because I'd be like, I got to see what's going on.
Right. Like how many times could like you know what? Let me do some research. Let me see how many times I can do it tomorrow without getting hurt, and then I'll come back to you and see if the math adds up. Like, because if you could do what, like 5 times a day, you'd be at 1,800 in a year. So I mean, up to you.
I think that's reasonable.
I
think I could do that, but
then you'd be 5 years before you make $1 million. So you'd be making like 200 grand a year, but only if you masturbate 5 times a day. So
every day, or
yep, every day. That's not a 5-day schedule. You got to be going hard at it. All right.
I think I just take
it works. You just take the money.
Yeah. What about you?
In order to make like 100 grand a year, You would have to do what, 2 to 3 times a day? I think 2 to 3 times a day would be fine. And then if you need extra cash, you'd be like, you know what, 6 times today. You know what I mean?
Okay, but what if we wanted to like have sex? I think that'd be annoying.
You'd be annoying because you'd be like, no, I'm already tapped out. I'd rather have
Be
$100.
tired. Like especially for a man, that's a lot.
I didn't say it wouldn't be hard work, all right? I'd just say, like, don't bother me for the next few hours. I gotta go to work, okay? That's I
Porn
mean,
stars would be making lots of money.
long hours. Yeah, right. Now, like, can you double dip? Like, if you were filming it, right, and then sold it, you'd still get the 100 for doing it, wouldn't you? And then you could sell it, so you'd make, double dipping.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a business on our hands. Now I
Smart
just gotta
business
find somebody that's gonna pay $100 every time.
Well, it's like that movie. You know that movie where if you press a button, you get a bunch of money, but somebody you don't know dies.
No, is that a movie? I thought
Yeah,
that
there's
was
a
just like
movie.
a meme.
It's like a thing, but it's a movie too. But the thing in the movie was like, it's somebody you don't know, but it could be like your future child or like things like that. So like, they made like a horror movie about it.
Oh, gotcha.
It's called The Button or some shit like that.
No idea.
That's all I got. What about you?
So we're agreed that you are gonna punch me once in the face, and I'll punch you in the hand, and I'll make lots of money. Because I feel like 250 would not be a hard thing to get to. To get to the 25 grand.
I just don't want to like punch you.
Well, sure, but for like 25 grand, like
one time is fine, but a bunch is too much.
would you? I saw that the one that was like, would you slap your significant other as hard as you could for $1 million? And everyone was like, yeah, why wouldn't I? You can't get over a slap for $500,000. You don't deserve it.
Yeah, I've seen things like that. I'm like, you would be like, yeah, hell yeah, slap me right now, bitch. Like, let's go.
It was like, you got to slap your mom and you can't tell her ahead of time, but you'll get $1 million. And I'd be like, okay.
Oh, I'd have to question that because my mom is an angry woman. You don't slap my mom unless you're prepared to get beat the fuck back. Okay, like she's not.
But
like,
that's fine. But you got $1 million. Just give her some. Be like, here's your 250,000. Here's your
like,
hat.
can you tell her as soon as you do it?
Yeah. There's probably a guy
maybe.
next to you with a briefcase. Be like, look, mom, look, I got $500,000. Here's your 250 grand. Your half.
Yeah, that might work. My mom's prone to react first, ask questions later.
Or what if you were like, you know what? I'll pay this guy like 25 grand. You go slap that lady. I'm like, who's that? Be like, that's my mom. 25 grand though. Go ahead.
Like, it's fine, I promise.
It's fine. I promise you'll get it. This guy with the briefcase with $1 million, he'll give it to you, but only the 25 grand.
Not shady at all. It's like, have you ever seen Would You Rather?
Is that a TV show or
a movie? The ending of that movie really fucked me up. But basically, the premise of it is this lady is like invited to a fancy dinner, and they have to play Would You Rather, and whoever wins
Oh,
all this money.
I think I've seen that. Like they go around the table,
Brittany
right?
Snow in it.
And isn't who is it? There's a bunch of people in that. Like but that's where they go around the table and they're like, would you rather like take your own eye out or with an ice pick, or take the guy next to your's eye out, and you got to pick, and like you get money if you pick whichever one. Is that the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, the ending of that movie fucked me up because like she was doing it to pay for her brother's cancer treatments, and then he just kills himself because he doesn't want to be a burden on her. And so she like wins, like she went through all these tough things. I remember specifically like she had to be held underwater for like 5 fucking minutes straight and then not drown and die. And then at the end, she gets home and her brother has killed himself, and she did all of that for nothing, and all she has is
isn't there like a porn star in that movie too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sasha Grey.
Yeah. That's who it is.
I remember
I knew there was a porn star. I couldn't remember the name though.
I remember because I watched that movie with my mom, and my mom was like, she's a bitch. I've worked with her before. I hate her.
What? I hate her.
Yes, she was very annoyed by her in that movie. She was like, I don't like her. She's very rude. And I was like, okay, mom.
And you're like, Mom, all right, stop. We're trying to have a decent family horror movie and you're bringing work into it. Get out of here.
Yeah. That's our pastime, watching movies together.
Oh, all right. You got anything else you want to throw in this week?
No, I think we've thrown enough in here.
Okay. Well, I know it's been only like 5 minutes since the intro, but here's the outro for you.
It's been 10 minutes at least.
This has been, yeah, okay, well, sure. This has been episode 38 of Mindless Prattle. I don't know what we're calling it yet. Woo. Almost to 100. And
Basically.
if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, share, comment, do whatever you want to do. All of the old episodes are going up on YouTube right now. So if you want to go take a look at those with some fun little visuals, it's nice and relaxing looking. It's got a little record in the background. Do that too. New shorts come out pretty much every 2 weeks on YouTube, TikTok, all the other places that Ripley puts them. But if you made it this far, we really appreciate it. I hope you had fun. I know we did. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.